UFC Houston is on our doorsteps, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my full card predictions and breakdown for every single fight on this pretty stacked fight night card. The fights aren't amazing, but the fighters are very exciting. The fights are going to be extremely entertaining. It sucks that we lost Kevin Holland, but Uros Medic is definitely a knockout or be knocked out fighter in the co-main event. A lot of the fights are stacked. I'm excited to cover them for you guys today, so like the video if you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let's get into it. Kicking off this card, we got Yair Delval taking on Jordan Levit, and Yair Delval is coming off of a fight that was probably fixed in his favor. I'm pretty sure is what we're looking at. Isaac Dolgarian threw the fight and lost on purpose by first round submission against Yair Delval. But he is still undefeated, still a very, very good prospect. I don't rate that win very highly at all, but outside of that, he still looks really, really good as a prospect. I thought he was going to beat Isaac Dolgarian when they fought. He's fighting Jordan Levit. Jordan Levit has only lost to pretty good fighters. He lost to Paddy Pimblett, who's obviously really good, and he also lost to Chase Hooper pretty dominantly, but Chase Hooper is pretty good as well. He's probably like on the cusp of ranked level fighters. So I think that Jordan Levit only loses to ranked level guys or almost ranked level guys is what I'm saying. And I think that Yair Delval is on that level to beat Jordan Levit. I think that he's probably going to submit Jordan Levit here. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this fight. Yair Delval, he's shown some good submission game throughout his UFC career. Although the fight was possibly fixed, that he got a first round or naked choke in, he's still a great grappler nonetheless. And I think that he's probably going to out-scramble Jordan Levit here on the ground and probably not choke him out. I don't think he's going to choke out Jordan Levit, but I think he's going to out-scramble Jordan Levit and beat him here by decision. So give me Yair Delval, probably 30 points. Moving up the card, we got Jean-Paul Lebanon taking on Phil Rowe, and I think that this fight is extremely interesting. Phil Rowe is pretty underrated in my opinion. His performance against Ange Loosa was very good. He's very tall for the division. He's 6'3", very lanky, but Jean-Paul looked super good in the Contender Series. Got a first minute KO in like the first minute or 2 minutes. He got a knockout over his opponent, and he's got a lot of power. He also has a lot of submissions on his resume. Like outside the UFC, he's got a lot of submission wins, and I haven't really seen him fight too much in the Contender Series. Didn't show a lot out of Jean-Paul, but I think that he's going to be able to beat Phil Rowe here. Phil Rowe's taking this fight on only 1 week notice, and I don't think that he's going to be able to beat Jean-Paul. Jean-Paul Lebanon's been preparing for this fight. He's known about this date for weeks and weeks now. Phil Rowe, he's taking this fight on short notice. He's old, he's aging, he took a lot of damage in his last fight. He's coming off of a very dominant loss to Seung Hoon KO, and I don't think he's going to win this fight here against Jean-Paul Lebanon. So give me Jean-Paul Lebanon by decision. Moving up the card, we got Reese Brahim taking on Serriano, and Reese Brahim is always dangerous in all of his fights because he has super good submissions, especially off his back. He's got a nasty guillotine that he got in his last fight against Billy Goff, choked him to sleep. That was an absolutely nasty guillotine, and he gets a lot of fluke. I don't want to say fluke, but like random submissions, kind of out of nowhere. In a lot of his fights, he'll get submissions, and I think that he could definitely submit Serriano because I also do think that Serriano is going to be shooting the takedowns on Reese Brahim, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that Serriano is a very good fighter. I think he's super underrated. He absolutely dominated Nikolai Veretennikov, and Nikolai Veretennikov is a very decent fighter. He's just lost to pretty decent fighters, and then he just destroyed Nico Price, and he beat him a lot easier than some other guys have recently, so that was a pretty good performance from Nikolai Veretennikov, and now he's kind of doing his thing, and that win didn't really seem that good at the time, but Serriano like 30-26 Nikolai Veretennikov, and he also knocked out Uros Medic in like 30 seconds, so he's got some good wins on his win streak right now, and I think he's going to continue this win streak by beating Reese Brahim, but I don't think he's going to get the finish in this one. I think it's going to be a little bit more boring like his fight with Nikolai Veretennikov was, but still extremely dominant, where he uses a lot of wrestling, probably takes him down a lot. On the feet, he's probably going to throw some hands, but I don't know if he's going to take a lot of risks in this fight. Serriano, he hasn't really been taking a lot of risks in his last, or at least in his last fight, it was very risk averse. So I think he's going to take a similar approach in this one. Give me Serriano by unanimous decision. Moving up the card, we got Alden Correa taking on Luis Garul, and I used to think that Luis Garul was pretty good after he won on the Contender Series. He was 10-0. He was getting a bunch of wins out of that promotion, Fury FC. I think he was a champion over there, which is a pretty good promotion to be a champion out of. He won dominantly on the Contender Series. I thought he was going to be good, but he got knocked out badly by Ode Osborne in his debut, and he just lost a decision to Jesus Aguilar, and yeah, he's been losing. He's been losing in the UFC, but he stayed pretty active. He fought twice last year. He fought in September, and he's getting back in there right now to fight again, and I think he's going to bounce back here. I do think that he's going to bounce back. Although Alden Correa is good, he did just TKO Alessandro Costa in UFC Noche, and that was a good performance. Not a lot of people do that to Alessandro Costa, but he took a lot of time off from that fight for some reason, and Luis Garul has had some pretty tough matchups. Jesus Aguilar is a very good fighter, and so is Ode Osborne. In the first round, Ode Osborne is extremely dangerous, and I don't think that Alden Correa is going to pose that same danger on Luis Garul, and we've never seen Alden Correa really get many takedowns shot on him, so I'm going to take an underdog pick here. I have a feeling I'm going with the underdog. I think Luis Garul is going to get it done by unanimous decision here. I think he's going to shoot a lot of takedowns, control Alden Correa, doesn't really let him get his hands going on the feet because Alden Correa is very, very good, very, very technical, but all these flyweights are technical. All these flyweights are good. I think Luis Garul's going to win this fight here. Give me Luis Garul by unanimous decision. Moving up the card, we got Ode Osborne taking on Alibi Idris, or however you even say his name. I don't even know how you say his name. Alibi Adiris or something, but he's taking on Ode Osborne, and Alibi, he lost to Joseph Morales on the Tough finale, and that was pretty dominant, but he looked really good on the regional scene. He looked really, really good on Tough. I thought he was going to beat Joseph Morales. I thought Idris was really, really good when I was watching the show before the finale when Morales beat him dominantly, or not dominantly, but he caught him in a sub early. And I don't know, I have a feeling, here's another, could be another underdog pick here, but I have a feeling Alibi Adiris is going to beat up on Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne is extremely inconsistent outside of like having really fast hands in round one. Maybe he can knock you out in round one, but outside of that, his cardio, it's really bad. His decision making and fight IQ is horrendous. He constantly fumbles finishes. His takedown defense is not good. His cardio, his stamina, it's really bad. I know I already said that, but I gotta say it twice because it is really bad. I gotta make that apparent here. I think that Alibi Adiris is gonna work his game of shooting a bunch of takedowns, and I think he's gonna work that on Ode Osborne and get the takedowns early and not get knocked out in the first round. And as long as he doesn't get knocked out in the first round, I don't think Ode Osborne has a real good chance to win. But Ode Osborne can definitely knock him out in the first round. But I'm going with another underdog here. Give me a Alibi Adiris by, let's go by submission here. Second round submission. I don't even know how you say his name, but I think he's going to. Moving up the card, we got Chidi Njokuani taking on Carlos Leal, and Carlos Leal is coming off a knockout loss to Muslim Salikov, and I honestly feel like that was a fluke 1 in a million punch from Muslim, and I feel like Muslim was on his way to getting his ass whooped by Carlos Leal, and 9 times out of 10, 49 times out of 50, Leal beats him. But Muslim, man, he did land a crazy shot on Leal. Leal's 1-2 in the UFC, and I think he's really, really good. Am I the only one that thinks Leal is super good? He's got a real bad run in the UFC, a real bad rap. He got robbed by Renat Fakhretdinov so badly, and then he did beat up on Alex Morono. Very, very easy fight. Knocked out Morono in the first round easily. And only good fighters do that to Morono. Only good fighters knock out Morono in the first round like that easily. That was a really good performance from Carlos Leal. And, dude, lost him, got caught on the chin, man. Coming in with his hands down at his hips. I think Muslim's going to beat Chidi Njokuani. Chidi Njokuani is coming off of a loss to Jake Matthews, and that was definitely not good to get caught in that choke by Jake Matthews, but he was doing very good in his career before that. He looked extremely good before that in his career, but he hasn't fought in almost a whole year, and he's 37 years old. He's an old man for UFC perspectives here, so I have a feeling Carlos Leal is going to walk him down and destroy him. I still believe in Leal. I think Carlos Leal is really good. Yeah, give me Carlos Leal by knockout. I think he knocks out Chidi Njokuani. Give me Carlos Leal. Moving up the card, we got Zachary Reese taking on Michel Pereira, and Michel Pereira has not seemed to be able to catch a break recently. He has not had a single bit of success in any of his last 3 fights, and he's coming off of like a 30-second knockout loss against Kyle Dawkins, and we've really never seen Kyle Dawkins put somebody out like that in the first round, the first 30 seconds like that. And Michel Pereira, Kyle Dawkins was taking that fight on super short notice. Michel Pereira was a huge favorite, and he got caught. It was crazy. Michel Pereira, he's just lost recently. I think he's on a 3 or 4 fight losing streak. I think he's going to lose again here to Zachary Reese. Zachary Reese is coming off of a pretty weird win over Jackson McVeigh, where Jackson McVeigh is an 0-1 prospect, and he's not that great, if we're being honest, on the regional scene. Didn't beat guys that were that good, and Zachary Reese was supposed to beat him up. And Jackson McVeigh was definitely getting the better of Zachary Reese. He was beating him up in the clinch a lot of dirty knees, elbows, nasty work in the clinch from Jackson McVeigh, but he did gas out and slow down, and eventually Zachary Reese subbed him, And I have a feeling that Zachary Reese might sub Michel Pereira as well in this fight. I think that Michel Pereira, after like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the fight, his cardio absolutely leaves. It fades him completely, and it's been a problem in his whole career, and I think it's going to continue. He's never really seemed to change it. I don't think his cardio problems are going to magically disappear when he fights Zachary Reese. I think Michel Pereira is going to lose here either by submission in the later rounds, in the second or third round, or I think it's going to be a decision. But either way, I think Zachary Reese is going to get it done here. So give me Zachary Reese by a wrestling dominant unanimous decision. Moving up the card, we got Josiah Harrell taking on Jacoby Smith, and Jacoby Smith is coming off of a win over Nico Price, where he was definitely expected to do a lot better in that fight than he did. He was definitely expected to have a more Nikolai Veretennikov-like performance over Nico Price, where you knock him out brutally in the first round. But instead, he choked him out in round 2 and had a kind of weird first round where he dropped Nico Price at the end of it, but had a little bit of trouble with Nico Price's just awkward, goofy style in the first couple of minutes. But I don't think he's going to have as much trouble against Josiah Harrell. I'm going to be honest, Josiah Harrell, he's taking this fight on super short notice. He was supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena a while ago, like a few years ago in the UFC. He pulled out. Basselhoff has stepped in. Josiah Harrell, he was supposed to be in the UFC a while ago. He's 11-0 in the regional scene. He's beating up everybody, and he's taking this fight on really short notice. But I don't know. I feel like Jacoby Smith is really good, and people are kind of underrating him after that weird, awkward Nico Price performance. I still think he's very good, even though that Nico Price fight was a little bit bad, a little bit worrying. I still think Jacoby Smith is very good. I think he's going to beat Josiah Harrell here. I think he's going to get a lot of takedowns and use his explosiveness to his advantage. Maybe he knocks out Josiah Harrell early, because Jacoby Smith is very explosive and he has a lot of power. But I don't know, man. I think Jacoby Smith is going to take him down a lot, maybe drop him in the early rounds and beat him up here. I'm going to take Jacoby Smith by unanimous decision. Moving up the card, we got Sergey Spivac taking on Ante Delija, and both guys are coming off some not very good performances, as Sergey Spivac, I believe, is coming off of the Waldo Cortez Acosta loss. I think. I'm not sure, but either way, Sergey Spivac, I don't think he's going to beat Ante Delija. Although Ante Delija has got knocked out by Waldo Cortez Acosta, I still think he's very good. He had a lot of hype before that Waldo Cortez Acosta fight. He looked really good against Marcin Tybura, and I think he's going to put the hands on Sergey Spivac. Ante Delija has really good boxing, really, really fast hands for a heavyweight. I think he's getting a little bit underrated going into this fight after the damn Waldo Cortez Acosta loss. I know he got knocked out by Waldo, but still, I think he's decent. I think he's got some really fast hands, and I think he's a lot better than Sergey Spivac on the feet. And maybe Sergey Spivac could take him down, but I don't know. Even if he takes him down, what's Sergey Spivac even going to do on the ground? Not a lot, I don't think. So give me Ante Delija here by probably a knockout. Give me Ante Delija by knockout. Moving up the card, we got old Melky Costa taking on Dan Ige. I love the title run. The title run of Melky. It starts, man. It's been started, but it's going, man. Melky's on a roll right now, and now he's getting his first ranked opponent. He's fighting Dan Ige, and I think he's going to beat Dan Ige. Malik Wiesel Costa is on an absolute roll. He looks very, very well-rounded. His takedowns look good. His defense looks good. His chin even looks good. His chin used to be a little bit suspect, but he's eaten some big shots on this title run that he's on of unranked fighters, and he's coming off of a nasty, brutal head kick KO over Morgan Charrier, and that was an extremely tough matchup. Morgan Charrier is a very good striker, and he's extremely tough. He went to war with Nate Landwehr, and he's not some guy that just gets knocked out like that, and he got flatline KO'd badly. It was a very, very nasty, brutal KO with a head kick that Melky landed on him, and I don't think that I don't think the exact same thing is going to happen to Dan Ige, but I think Dan Ige is going to kind of freeze up like he always does with these long-rangey strikers, and I think Melky's going to mix it up a lot with the boxing and the kicks and slam nasty body kicks onto Dan Ige, and maybe Dan Ige is going to try to land some big shots, but even if Dan Ige tries to get in close, land some big shots, I think Costa could even take him down. So I think Malik Wiesel Costa is going to get another victory here and get closer to that UFC belt. Let's go, baby. Title run of Melky. It starts now. He's beating up Dan Ige. I don't think he's going to finish him, but give me Malik Wiesel Costa by unanimous decision. On to the co-main event. We got Jeff Neal taking on Uros Medic. This fight is an absolute banger. It was supposed to be Kevin Holland instead of Uros, but instead they picked Uros Medic. I'm not really sure why. He was definitely not the most deserving contender or prospect for this fight, but they did go with him, and he's a very kill-or-be-killed fighter. He's either going to knock somebody out in the first round or get knocked out in the first round, and I think he's going to get knocked out in the first round by Jeff Neal. Neal. I could definitely see Uros Medic landing a big shot on Jeff Neal's chin, but Uros is already extremely chinny. He's very defensively reckless. He's very reckless on the feet, swings for the fences, likes to go to war, gets dropped in almost every one of his fights. He's extremely powerful. He's extremely dangerous. I could definitely see him catching Jeff Neal and putting him away, but Jeff Neal is pretty defensively sound, and even when he brawls very technically, and he's got a pretty good chin. Jeff Neal's a tough guy, and I don't think he's going to go out to some shot early. I don't think he's just going to go out, get slept by one shot by Uros Medic, and as long as that doesn't happen, I think Jeff Neal is going to find an opening and catch Uros, probably put him away in the first round. Uros Medic, the chin, man, it's a little bit suspect. His defense, it's a little bit suspect, so I'm taking Jeff Neal here. I'm pretty confident with this pick, so yeah, give me Jeff Neal by knock. And now we have the main event. Oh, I just moved my camera. It's whatever. It's fine. We got Sean Strickland taking on Fluffy Hernandez, baby. I think Fluffy Hernandez is going to win. Something's telling me Fluffy's going to win, but I'm also very nervous for Fluffy because on paper, if you look at this fight, the teeps to the body are extremely, extremely dangerous for Sean Strickland here. Fluffy Hernandez, he's very weak to the body. He's been hurt to the body before, and Michelle Pereira hurt him to the body early with some teeps, and I think that Sean Strickland is, of course, he's going to be teeping the body, and he's going to be jabbing, and he's going to be pressuring, and he's going to be putting the pressure on you. But I also think that Fluffy Hernandez is going to be putting the pressure on Sean Strickland, and I could definitely see Fluffy taking him down early, and I think that it's going to happen. I think the takedowns are going to come for Fluffy Hernandez. He's extremely good at pushing that pace and just drowning his opponents with the takedowns, and I'm very, very confident that he's going to be able to get the takedowns on Sean on the feet. If the takedowns begin to fail, if Sean Strickland starts to stuff him, he starts to get up a little bit quicker. He gets up real fast, the takedowns aren't really working the same. I think on the feet, Fluffy is in real danger. Sean Strickland, this matchup on the feet is extremely good for Sean Strickland, and if Sean Strickland can begin to stuff the takedowns, he's definitely going to beat up on, I was going to say Alexander Hernandez, but Anthony Hernandez. I don't think he's going to beat up on Fluffy, though. I really don't. I think Fluffy's going to get the takedowns. He's going to heat up. He snowballs throughout fights. He gets better as the fight goes on, and I think if in rounds 3, 4, and 5, he's just going to overwhelm Sean Strickland, maybe even finish him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Fluffy is going to win a dominant, unanimous decision. Maybe Sean Strickland can stuff the takedowns and beat up Fluffy, maybe even finish him. I think if this fight stays on the feet, I could definitely see Sean Strickland finding a finish, particularly to the body. I think the body of Fluffy Hernandez is weak, and it is definitely waiting to be exposed, and there are things to be exposed in Anthony Hernandez's game, but I don't think that Sean Strickland is going to be the guy to do it. So give me Fluffy Hernandez here by unanimous decision. His pace is insane. His wrestling, his chain wrestling is insane. His takedowns, the velocity and the amount of takedowns that he's shooting in rounds, I mean, just overwhelming on these guys, and I think he's going to overwhelm Sean Strickland and beat him up here. So yeah, give me Fluffy Hernandez, and if you guys like the video, subscribe to my channel, and who's with me?